Back here on the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford. Another one of our John Fourcade specials this week. Again, Friends and Neighbors Black Friday pricing event. $500 Black Friday bonus cash now available on both the Edge and Escape. Again, $500 Black Friday bonus cash now available on both the Ford Edge and Ford Escape right here at Veterans Ford. We're back here on the John Fourcade Show. John, Saints and the Houston Texans this coming weekend. I know for the Saints, man, they must feel pretty good. LSU has stolen all the headlines from them and taken some of the heat off of what has happened on this football team. 4-6. Man, I look at the Texans. 5-5 football team. The home team has won all the previous events, which is interesting. That's almost a stat, almost from the goal sheet, so to speak. And the last meeting, Saints ended up winning that one 40-33 in a shootout when Matt Schaub was quarterbacking that football team. But man, how well the Texans have played on the defensive side of the football. And we talk about J.J. Watt and Brian Cushing, McKinney, rookie from Mississippi State, who's really played well. And they made a little change in the secondary. It's really paid off. Now you got Brian Hoyer as your starting quarterback. T.J. Yates came in. And I was told something years ago about T.J. that he's like a guy that's really good sixth player on a basketball team. Don't start him. Let him come off the bench. He feels much more relaxed, and he's produced for him. It'll be interesting to watch. This team has been lit up by pretty good quarterbacks. Now you got Hoyer coming to camp, and they got one of the stud receivers in the NFL in DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, not just him on that side of football. They got a guy named Watt on the other side of football that's helping the defense. But offensively, Houston still don't have a running game. The only running back they have right now is the kid from LSU, Alfred Blue, who's playing back there. Yates has come in and won last week for them. He relieved Hoyer in the game just the other day when they beat Cincinnati on primetime TV, and I think Hoyer is back with a concussion, so they say he'll be okay playing.
He will start
this week. Playing at Houston. They're tied for first place, though. That's the big thing. They're in a division, Mike, at 5-5, tied for first place. We're in a division at 4-6, bringing up the rear. Thank God we didn't lose to the bye team this week, and that'd be 4-7, but we didn't. We ended up getting a bye week, and so we'll see what happens. Maybe the Saints can get some things going on. We're going to find out what's going to happen on the defensive side of football because there's no Rob there. Rob is not coaching the defense. His brother Rex did the other night and looked pretty rough there. But Saints got to do something defensively. If they want to go in this football game and win and just win the game, they got to do something defensively and not give up 30-something points a game.
John, you got to play against this guy, Lawrence Taylor, back in the 80s, and we saw from 1986 to 1989, 4-year stretch, LT's best run, 63 quarterback sacks. J.J. Watt from 2012 to 2015, 63 quarterback sacks with 6 games left to play. When you're talking about LT changed the game and what he did. Now you're watching a guy, he's not rushing off the edge.
That's what I was
he's
saying.
Rushing inside.
And he's got his hands down, which is tougher to do because now he has to come up, get off the block, do certain things with that way, Mike. But, the guy comes to play every game. I watched him the other night play against Cincinnati, and I was, really impressed with him, how he doesn't take a play off. And if you're going to spend that much money for a guy, he does that, my hat goes off. This guy doesn't take a play off unless he has to, and he comes out under certain situations. But, boy, if we could just get somebody like that on our side, it'd be unbelievable.
Man, he tilts the field. He's one of the few players, I'll say that. He tilts the field in his direction. On the offensive side of the football, though, I still look at it. DeAndre Hopkins, I think you'd have to put him in one of the top 5 wideouts in pro football today. He's played that well, and we saw him at Clemson, and he was a guy that was a tremendous football player at Clemson, but he's become an even better pro player.
Well, the thing about him is he comes to play every week. You don't hear much about injuries like the other kid for Clemson who played last night.
Sammy Watkins.
And but I like the way this kid plays. He goes after the football. He's there ready for it. He's the go-to guy on a team that's not scoring points. If he was on the Saints or on the Patriots or somebody like that or the Packers where they throw the ball much better than what these guys do because, Houston's not a really high-powered offense, Mike. But, boy, I tell you what, he is a player for them. And if you could shut him down, I think you shut Houston down.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting in this week because the Saints have had difficulty stopping the run. And when you brought it up, Alfred Blue, young man who played his high school football right up the road from where I live at Hornville High School, goes on to LSU. LSU coaches toward the end of his sophomore year were trying to convince him to play on defense because they had so much talent at the running back position. Because of the injury to Arian Foster now, he becomes the number one guy. And he's also a really good receiver coming out the backfield.
Well, that's the thing I think they liked about LSU running backs. The guys that go to LSU, they can do a couple things besides just running the football. They can catch and block, and that's what this young man does very well for him. He got thrown into the starting job after Foster got injured. He's played well for them. I just don't know if they're capable of running the football. They haven't shown all year of being a running team. I think they're just win by defense and hope you score a few more points than they do on offense.
You know, this last weekend we got to see or hear for the first time from Rob Bryant a couple of comments that he made, you know, the Katrina comments.
Right.
John, I think, listen, you got to understand the place and the time and to do that
Right.
sort of thing and understand that, you know, that's kind of off the boundary that Katrina comment. And listen, we all know Rob, and sometimes he's got no filter between the mouth and his head. And that comment, you know, saying, hey, listen, I'm being blamed for everything, and that partially is true.
True.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of heat for some stuff that he had nothing to do with, but I think the Katrina thing is the one that has set off the firestorm.
If he'd have just said what he said about I'm being blamed for everything and make you spill about all that and say, you know, this is what I think and this is what I saw and this is what I know, and go on about your business and never brought up Katrina, we'd all sit there and say, okay, we respect you, you got your opinion, we understand what happened, but you can't bring Katrina into this. That has nothing to do with you getting fired for giving up, you know, 50 points a game and, you know, 510 yards an offensive showing against us. So he should just kept his mouth quiet, left gracefully, and we'll see what happens. Thank God his son's high school team's not still playing anymore because he had to still stick around. Now he can sneak out of town in the middle of the night with a van.
And you know, one thing with Rob, he's going to get another job. Now, he
There's
may
no
be
doubt.
a positional coach somewhere, but again, he's going to be a coordinator in the NFL. You can see that eventually is going to happen with Rob. You'll get another opportunity. One of the things he should have brought up, from 2010 to 2014, 5 draft classes, this football team has 6 players left. 3 on offense, 3 on defense. You talk about that is the reason why this football team is 4-6. You can point right at that particular stat. We'll be back with more of the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford.